So I think we should be shouting action, but I think we're more likely to be dropping off for a bit of a snooze, if I'm honest. But as you can see, I do have a director at least in place. He's not particularly engaged at the moment, and I do have coffee, and I do have a cameraman. So what could possibly go wrong? As we all know, something's bound to. Hi there, it's Anne of Rosie Duck Designs here. Thanks ever so much for joining me today. Before we get on with our crafting, I just wanted to highlight the latest news on Sale-A-Bration. Now, in my last video, I did mention that the lovely lipstick foil sheets, which are these, that's a level 1 reward, and also the Precious Parcel card kit. Now, I did tell you that they are stocks of those are depleting and are unlikely to last right through to Sale-A-Bration, the end of Sale-A-Bration. I have literally just gone on and just double checked what the situation is today, and they are still available to order. So if it's something, either of those rewards you've been thinking about wanting, then as I said before, don't delay. Do put your qualifying order in. I've got no idea what the levels are. All I can tell you is that they are still available as at today. So that's the first bit of news. The second bit of news is that on the 15th of February there is a second Sale-A-Bration release. So that's something to look forward to. I'm doing this from memory. There are 2 new level 1 gifts. That's a stamp set and a embossing folder. And there's another level 2 reward, and that is a really lovely stamp set. It's one of the distinctive stamp sets, so the one that's got the really fine detail in it, and that's bundled up with a very pretty pack of designer series paper. I haven't got any of those at the moment myself. They are going to be winging their way to me as soon as I press the button and put my order in. So I can't be any more specific than that, but I will obviously be updating my Facebook page and Instagram and all the usual places where things get posted. But the important date really to remember is the 15th of February, and then you can start ordering there, or putting an order in and then qualifying for those new rewards. So I think that's all I want to say about Sale-A-Bration, etc. Obviously, don't forget, having said that, don't forget the rewards when you are thinking about joining. There is the additional products that you can earn, and also the lovely, well, not earn, but receive in your starter kit, and also the really lovely craft tote bag. So all those sort of links will be at the front of my video as usual. So today's card is going to be a really simple one, and I did highlight this at the end of my last video, and it's a little rabbit that's part of this stamp set, Fable Friends, which is in the new spring summer catalogue. I keep saying new, but it's actually been out over a month now, but it is still new in the sense that when you've bought quite a few products, you're still opening them up and thinking, oh, this is fantastic. So it's still new to me, and I have to say I'm totally in love with this set. I mean, it's got this lovely duck, and this rabbit is so cute, I can't stop using it. So as I said last time, we did a little boys version of this. I'm going from memory. This is Night of Navy, and I think that is Balmy Blue that I've used there, and on his little coat. And then we've got the little rabbit on the envelope. So I said at the time I would do a little baby girl version of that. So I'm using Blushing Bride as the pink. So as usual, I've got my base card cut at 8 by 6, scored in the middle at 4 for the, as I say, my base card. Then I've got 2 pieces of Blushing Bride, and they're cut at 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. So one is for the inside and one is for the outside. So I start by sticking that on with my snail. I've got one here that's about to run out, so it makes sense to end that, finish that one up first. I have to say, while I'm sitting here, there is lashing rain at the window and 40-mile-an-hour gusts of wind, so it really is a very sensible place to be, sat indoors in the warm doing some crafting today. My only regret is that I should have probably done the video yesterday when it was sunny. I have a feeling I could be disappearing into a gloomy lack of light at any moment. And also it's bin day, so we've had various bottle, the things that you put your bottles in. My husband had to chase ours up the road earlier, so any odd noises, it's probably bits of debris running up the road. Right, so I've got the inside, and now this is my front. Now my inside of my card is, she said, 3.5 by 5.5, and it's going to be a very, very simple card with that I'm doing today. I'm using the Blushing Bride ink, and I'm using this little stamp, Darling Baby, out of here. And if you notice, because I've set this up ready, this is one of the new cling stamps, and I've put a tiny piece of paper there just to give me some leverage to get the stamp off of the block. For the first time yesterday on a totally different stamp set, I did have a bit of trouble getting my stamp off the block, so just a tip, particularly on the smaller ones, if you just put a little bit of washi tape, or that is literally just a bit of card at the back of the stamp, then it just gives you that leverage to get it off. Now I have to say, I think I put this on slightly wonky, the label, so I'm just going to try it on my pad to make sure it's level, because that looks as if it's going downhill a bit. If I can keep that angle, we'll be fine. She said. It's okay. It's always a sense of accomplishment and amazement when I stamp something when I'm filming and it's perfectly alright. So that's that bit. So let's get that stuck into the middle. Now you could obviously, there isn't a congratulations stamp in there, but you could obviously use a congratulations stamp out of another one of your stamp sets. Always cat hair whenever I try and stick something. I wonder why that is, Ollie. Is you ignoring me, is it? Perhaps you shouldn't get up so early and demand your breakfast, then you wouldn't be so tired, would you? You wouldn't be so tired then, would you? Such a hard life in this house being a cat. No, nothing to say for himself today. So the next, as I said, it's a very, very hard life being a cat when you live here. There are, of course, lots of poor cats where they have lots of struggles in their lives, but you lot aren't one of them, are you? Right, so I've got my rabbit. I could actually do with a bigger block, but I've actually got a D block here. Probably should have gone with a bigger one, but he fits on diagonally, so that's fine. So I'm grabbing the Crumb Cake ink pad. And this piece of paper is, or piece of card is 3 by 3 3/4. So I actually want more of a border round this card. Try not to stamp the rabbit diagonally. So if we put him about her even. I said last week I'm surrounded by boys in this house, so everything is a him. I'm going to do the envelope at the same time, and I'm not going to do the whole rabbit. I'm just going to do just so he's just slightly above the jacket, just so it looks like he's peering out from the corner of the envelope. And then let's get that wiped off. Now, despite some of the issues where we've been saying that they stick to the block and they're a bit hard to get off, until yesterday I've not had that problem. And it was funny, last night I was using one of the old style rubber stamp sets, and it was really irritating not to be able to just get hold of the stamp and stick it straight on the block and get the lip salve out. It was like I've not had to do that for a while. So I'm really getting totally convinced that this is a brilliant way forward, and it's worth just those odd little areas where you just have to perhaps think about the stamp and do you need to put something under it just to make sure you can lever it off again. So I'm back with my blender pens, and I'm going to do this as crumb cake. Now, as I've always say, it's worth having a piece of white card, or you can use your pad if you've got it, just an odd bit so that you can take off any excess ink that you don't want. So I want the darker bits in his ears, so I'm just going to go straight on, sorry, her ears. I'm going in with the deep colour in the middle of the ear, and then I want to take off some of the colour and just add that round the, basically colour the rabbit in. Now again, you could use watercolour pencils, you could use Stampin' Right markers, you could use Stampin' blends. I just have a preference for my ink pads and blender pens. I just feel like I have more control over the colour and things like that. The Stampin' blends are absolutely brilliant, I have to say. And there's even one that takes colour off, so if you've put too much on you can remove it. I really should get mine out and have a play with them again. It's very easy to just get back into the using what you're comfortable with, especially when you're filming, because we all know it goes disastrously wrong even if I kind of know what I'm doing. So with this little rabbit, I'm going to colour the whole rabbit in. I'm going to put some darker tinges on the legs. Just make the middle just a bit paler. Blending that in a bit. Slightly darker bits there. Right, so the envelope somewhere. So the same thing with the envelope. So it's very much like watching paint dry, isn't it, this one? But unless I do this, we can't see the finished envelope with its card. It's not quite so much rabbit to colour in either, so hopefully it won't take quite so long. This is where we could do with a bit of cats playing up, Ollie, not snoozing their way through it. We need a bit of distraction from the painting. But as we all know, anyone who owns a cat knows they never do what you want them to do. 20 minutes after this is finished, I can guarantee they'll probably be running around the house, causing havoc. No, you're going to get nothing out of him at the moment. Probably wants his fee to be put up. Alright, so that's my rabbit done on the envelope. Put that up there for safety. So I think I've finished with the crumb cake. Just cleaning off my blender pen. Now these are two-end or double-ended, so you could just switch ends, but as long as your nib is clean, it's fine. So I'm going back to my Blushing Bride. I'm just going to grab a mouthful of that rather cold coffee. And this is quite a pale colour. I also think I probably need to re-ink this pad, if I'm honest. I think I will probably buy myself a new one rather than re-ink the old one, because that's the old style. Nothing wrong with them, of course, but for the amount of money that's involved, it'd be quite nice to start getting all the ink pads looking the same. It would also save my confusion of how do I open them. Guarantee that now I've had a couple of the older ones, I'll be trying to open the new ones by pushing them and pulling them and doing all sorts of things with them that I shouldn't be doing. So that's its little jacket. So I'm just going to take some right from the top, which is hopefully going to pick up a little bit of a darker colour, just to pick out the buttons on the jacket. Now at this stage you could, if you've got a big shot or you've got a big punch, I'm not sure any of our punches would actually punch out that width, if I'm honest. Yeah, it might be tight, but certainly with a big shot, and I'll just show you this card, you could do that with it, just to make it sort of more of a central element on your card. But as I said, this was going to be a simple card, so you didn't need loads and loads of tools for. So we've got the rabbit done. Now I'm using this stamp Hello, and that is from the Jar of Love stamp set. Now you could of course put the Darling Baby stamp at the top, and then inside you could put your congratulations stamp. So at the end of the day, you can add whatever sentiments you want to the card. These are just to give you ideas. Now I'm just going to make sure that is inked up. Yeah, it's not too bad. I have to say I wanted to have the different colours like I had with the blue, but it's easier to coordinate the blue colours than it is the pink, so they sort of just didn't look right, so I'm sticking with the Blushing Bride. So it is going to be a lot paler, this one. Stick that at the top there. Pressing down and hoping it's going to come out. Yeah, that's not too bad. As I say, I do think desperately need a new ink pad on that one. So I've finished with that. No, I haven't, because I haven't done my little rabbit on here. Okay. At least I didn't have to leave the room for that mistake, did I? Just do her little jacket. Now, because of the colours involved, this is a very delicate little card, but then we're talking about little baby girls, it's probably quite appropriate rather than a sort of in your face pink. That's the two little buttons. So that's the envelope is actually finished now. Finished with my blender pens. And I'm just going to put some little sprigs of grass, which is another small stamp in this stamp set. And I'm using Granny Green Apple. Now you see, I'm already confused. I want to do that with it, and all I've got to do is that with it. So just some little bits of grass around here, just to add a little bit of extra colour. Now, because that is quite a pale colour, what you can do is just add a little bit of shimmer to it by using your Wink of Stella. A lot left in that one. But basically, if we're just going over it very gently over the hello. Now, again, that's not going to be an in-your-face effect, but literally as the card catches the light, there will just be those little glimmer of shimmer, if you see what I mean. Which again adds to the delicacy of the fact that it's a little baby card. Now again, you have a very fine nib with the Wink of Stella, so it's not difficult to follow the lines. Now that is on there, you're not going to see that on camera, I have to say, but as that catches the light, it does just pick up. Unfortunately the window's there and the camera's here, but trust me, when it catches the light you can see it. So it just gives it that little bit of extra detail. So now all we need to do is put that on our card. So no stamping dimensionals, no big shots, no punches, just a very simple card. Which sometimes it's nice to see how we can use all the different tools, but also it's really good sometimes to just visit a nice simple card that we don't need to spend oodles of money on buying tools and things. So I'm just placing that in the centre and job done. And there's our matching envelope. So as I was saying, I absolutely adore this stamp set. What I will do, before I do anything else, I will just take that one off because it's quite a small one. No problem with that one. That's good. That's that's okay because I've got something on the bottom of that. Right, yeah, so I'm really enjoying this stamp set. So this is a little card I made, which I shared with you a bit earlier. Now you notice with this one, I've done this as a grey rabbit, and in this instance I've not coloured in his tummy area. So what I'm going to do, for those of you who like rabbits, I'm going to do another couple of cards using this stamp, just to give you a bit of variety of how you can use it. So I will be back very soon to share that with you. If you've enjoyed this video, then do please give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, that would be brilliant. All that happens is that you get notified when I've uploaded a video. As usual, all the normal links will be on the front of the video as well. So from a very sleepy Ollie and a very crashed out Marley, thanks ever so much for joining us today, and I will see you again very soon. Until then, take care. Bye.